everybody. This is the Monetary Exchange, and we have our first official guest, okay? Our first guest knows the power of financial literacy and how it can transform a household, a business, and a community. Please welcome Collin Jackson.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you made it, man.
I appreciate it. I didn't know it was the first one, man. I feel special.
Hey, listen, man, you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Once again, man, Collin Jackson. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Collin.
Oh man, I'm nobody from nowhere. No, I'm Collin Jackson. I jokingly call myself your second favorite community advocate. I'm the president of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland Young Professionals chapter, which I'm happy to serve under our CEO, Marsha Maccabee. Been in politics at the political for about 10 years. I'm retired now, though. It got too crazy.
I understand.
I'm a legacy business owner with my father over at Elson's International. I actually just took a stay of leave from there, and now I'm at College Now, which is a great organization that everyone should be involved in, as a new director of individual giving. So working a little bit in development. So I've been a little bit of everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that transition from working with your father to working with College Now, how was that transition for you?
I talk about all the time growing up in a Black entrepreneurial mindset, right?
Got you.
So as a child, I was always employee number one, but then I became an adult and I had to interview for that job. So I tell the joke all the time that I had to interview to work for my father at Elson's 4 times, and it wasn't until the 4th time where I actually got in. So for me, it was great to be able to come back to the family business and contribute. Gotcha. And then after being there for a while, I couldn't kill the advocate within me. So I went back into a space now where I'm able to contribute to the community in a different level. Making boxes is what we did is important, but getting funds together to aid someone in their education, matriculation,
yes,
that's huge. And I think for our community in particular, education is the key to prosperity. And if I can be a part of helping someone achieve that prosperity, I can sleep good at night.
Gotcha. I think it's important, man, the fact that you've paid attention to the key components that got you to this point. It's going to follow up with this next question because I think it'll align. So my next question would be, what first inspires you to focus on financial literacy within our community?
Yeah. And I'll take it a step further, from being financially literate and to a space of financially operationalizing those literacy components. So for me, again, I grew up in small business. I watched what it means to have a payroll every week, right? At any one time when working in our businesses, my father and the business was supporting 20 to 30 other families, right? And for me, that was incredibly powerful. The ability to not only do well for yourself, but also do well for others in your community, right. Employ them, give families opportunities. One of my favorite things that we did at Elson's was every Christmas, we made sure that the guys in the plant, their kids had bikes and dolls.
Wow.
Just something very simple like that. But you can't do that without being the owner of something. And I think that when we talk about the concept of Black empowerment, Black growth, and the empowerment of Black communities, that concept of someone being the owner and being benevolent enough to understand that it's not just about my family doing well, but it's about all of our families doing well. Mm-hmm. That was something that sparked a light in me that I can't get rid of, man. I want to make sure everyone's doing as well as possible.
There's so much purpose in that.
I don't know, man. It's legacy. It's what I was given, and it's what I hope to give my children and the people around us, because truly one of us succeeding is not the goal, right?
Correct.
The goal is for all of us to do well and have a community of us doing well so we can continue doing well.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned your son. So I have a
daughter.
Yeah. I have another question that kind of aligns to legacy as well, but it's one of those, like, if you could speak to the younger version of yourself in a sense. But if you could give one habit that builds true wealth and keeps money in the community, what would that be?
You know, man, that's a great question. Again, I go back to my childhood. So one thing my daughter sees, and it's something very simple. And I ask people this all the time: do you have black art in your house?
Mm.
Is there black art in your house? Is your plumber black? Is your mechanic black? Is your your barber probably is black, but all the things that your doctors, as a kid, I grew up in a world where all those things were black people. And so I know part of this conversation is around what Black Wall Street was, what these communities of Tulsa, and this is why everybody needs to study their history. But what made those places unique was that everyone who serviced everyone else looked like them. And the benefit of the doubt that gives you internally, the ability to struggle and find people to support you changes, we'll be honest, when it's someone that looks like you.
That's true.
So for my daughter, what she is going to grow up around is she's going to see black lawyers. She's going to see black doctors. She's going to see black politicians. She's also going to see black mechanics, black plumbers. Everyone that comes into our home, usually to do work, is another black person.
Yeah.
And she is surrounded by not just black excellence, but she is going to go into the world where she is going to be surprised to realize that, oh, everyone else isn't black. And I think that is, a good place for us to come from, especially as young people, because what it does is it lights the vision in your head that this is possible. And I think so much for us in our economics, we believe sometimes that the white man's ice is colder. And we believe that because we don't see each other as equal or valuable. And, that's one thing that my daughter isn't going to have to grow up with.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's amazing because, truth be told, a lot of us have created most of everything that we see used today. From
the stoplight to the gas mask to the cotton gin to
the refrigerator.
I mean, one of my frat brothers put together, our ability to preserve blood and blood banks. The Red Cross would not be possible without Dr. Charles Drew. And we don't even think about that. So you think about black inventors, and that hasn't stopped. You remember, the guy who came up with the super soaker is a brother.
Yep.
So we often talk about, black inventors being a thing of the past. But I think I had this conversation regarding education. The reason it's so important for kids, even at college now, from underserved communities or from non-traditional communities going to college is because that's how we get innovation.
Yeah.
We are the people of innovation, for all the way from back when we were talking about Africa and math and teaching people how to bathe and build pyramids, right? To today, when you talk about what we're seeing with the internet and what with the possibility, streaming only works really at its best level with black creators like Kai Cenat. He is an inventor of an entire genre. So
university,
so it's important that, we see each other like that as the innovators, as the rest of the world knows us to be, and capitalize it off of it. And we need to be in the space to capitalize off of us and who we are.
Now, do you feel as though that is a way that we can rebuild in 2025 Black Wall Street?
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'll say about Black Wall Street is that, the reason those communities had to exist, you got to think of those times, right? There's really no internet. There's no ability to have mass communication or an organization of people. And that's why the civil rights movement is so interesting, because you had a national movement that literally rolled through the country on a bus. They had to read it on newspapers. But now we are in a place where your storefront is less important than your social media page.
Very true.
So, even in Cleveland, we have Little Italy. We have, I don't know, this Asian town down there in these districts. I think that as African Americans in particular, even in the city of Cleveland, we have to get over the geographic or the physical mindset of a Black Wall Street.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
understand that a gathering of digital storefronts and a community of economic support and patronage in between businesses, business to business, right? That's Black Wall Street. And I think that we often lean towards, we got to get 3 blocks in the middle of Cleveland and Baltimore, and somebody got to own it, and development. Those are all called barriers to entry, and we as Black people have never been one not to jump over it. When they said you couldn't own your own money and till your own fields, we did it behind the house. When they told us, even, they talk about the moonshiners and the prohibition, people don't even understand. Well, now they do a little bit more with Uncle Nearest, that we were the engine behind that innovation. We were the people who were putting that together, despite whatever barriers were in front of us. But today we have one of the greatest tools ever, and the ability to communicate directly with your people, directly with your peers at the tap of a button. That's Black Wall Street. So our real barrier is internal of the thing.
Gotcha.
It's internal because we have the tools. We just don't have the trust in the community. And I think that's the part that's really keeping us from that, besides all the capital and financial things that can be worked out.
I think sometimes, this is a little bit deeper than just Black Wall Street, but I think, like you said, internal, it does start with ourselves first.
Yeah.
It starts with the renewing of the mind. It starts with being in the right spirit. It starts with having the desires to actually build a community, but it has to start with you. And that's, personally, I'm learning that myself.
Yeah.
Or, as a banker, it starts with me though. Yes, I may be able to educate some people on how the bank works and how you can open up certain accounts, but if my mindset isn't right, if I'm not coming in with the intentions of gaining this knowledge for myself and learning how to apply it, to teach it to be applicable for other people, then it's not going to work. So same thing you're saying with the internet, like you have to find a way to realize that we have access. Yeah. And you no longer have to wait.
Yeah. It's really like that, man. But I think that all comes from a mindset of scarcity. Mindset of scarcity, that by putting someone else on or putting someone else in the position or making them bigger, that they're going to become bigger than me and I won't have enough for mine. And, that comes from what we've experienced in this country. But I think what we have to understand is that there's enough space and we can create more space for everybody, right? And that no one person is going to be the person that stands in the way of your success. The only person that's going to be is you.
That's very true. That's very true. All right, one more question for you. So, personally, what does financial freedom look like to you?
That's a good one. I can give you some numbers and things of that, but I think ultimately financial freedom is the thing that allows you to live your life outside of finances and not having to think about it. For me, picking up my daughter every day is a really big deal for me. Monday through Friday, 4:30, I'm gonna be there. I'm blessed enough to be in a position where I don't gotta hit a clock to 6 o'clock and I can't go pick her up. Financial freedom is having a home for your family that you can afford, that you don't have to constantly every 30 days be figuring out how you're gonna do it. Financial freedom is the ability to experience all the wealth that comes outside of your occupation, and that is of your family, of your community, being able to have a little something extra to take care of somebody else, and for me in all of my roles, but, particularly in the role of the Urban League, where I'm the young professional president there, our 3 components of what we fight for are demanding diversity, defeating poverty, and defending democracy. Those 3 things all together ultimately make you free, not only just in a financial way, but in a social way. And the only reason those 3 things are important is because it gives you the space and the time and the opportunity to really enjoy and live in the way that we were supposed to live as Black people. Because these suits these watches, these cars, they all gonna go away, man. And you don't get to take them with you. But what you'll never get back is the time you spent with your wife or your significant other and your kids. And these dollars are just a means to make that happen, and to create some comfortability, and always to build legacy and set the people that come up behind you in a better position than you were.
Very well said. Very well said. In closing, what's one particular step our audience can take this month to strengthen themselves financially and collectively?
Get you a financial planner. Talk to somebody who, it doesn't even have to be extremely formal, but get a plan together. And if you're not going to do that and you are in some type of relationship where you have a partner, talk to your partner about finances. I know, brothers, it can be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, and you got to show wifey your W-2s, and it might not have been the best year, but that's a big thing, is to find a partner in your financial journey, whether it's inside of your home or out. This month was this month. This is August, so kids is going back to school. So one thing that I always do to talk about our collective success economically is that you can't say you want Black people to be successful economically and you not supporting Black people in your individual walk.
Gotcha.
If you are not making a conscious decision to do that. So for me, I've been doing this for the last 3-4 holidays, but again, I try to do this every day. If I have to buy gifts for anyone, I'm going to a Black vendor. Picking a day to support Black vendors consciously, whether it's a holiday, whether it's not a holiday, whether you need to get something fixed, you need to buy something. There is somebody who looks like you who does that service. And similar to the way I started this conversation about being in an entrepreneurial family and seeing how many families we were actually supporting, it's the same concept as when you go buy that next t-shirt you need, that next pair of sneakers, that next pair of jeans. If you can do that by supporting somebody that looks like you, you're supporting the success of Black people economically. So that's why, I did a lot of Buy Black campaigns that exist, but I think the individual making that decision that I am going to support my people, even if I got to drive 10, 15 more minutes, does a lot. It does a lot. And you will build community and relationships through that commerce. So those are the two things. Get a partner, and make a plan to support people that look like you.
Well, just know it's duly noted for me personally. Hey, audience, I hope that's duly noted for you. Welcome to the Monetary Exchange. We thank you for taking the time to actually see us, hear us, and hopefully you learn something from us. We got Collin Jackson in the building once again. September 25th. Doors open up at 5:30. We will be at Mrs. O's Cafe. The Monetary Exchange will be live in effect, and Collin will be on stage and present for you to be able to connect and have a conversation with him as well. Once again, we thank you for your time, and until next time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Monetary Exchange, where we leverage relationships, establish connections, build businesses, focus on financial literacy. Yes. This is the Monetary Exchange. Stay tuned. The next one, be bigger and better than ever. I am your host, Cameron Woods. And this is the Monetary Exchange. Till next time.